Okay, let's dive right into this explainer because we are looking at an absolutely bizarre modern-day David versus Goliath story, and it is unfolding right now on our computers. On one side of the ring, you've got Microsoft, right? Literally one of the most powerful and valuable tech giants on the planet, armed with infinite resources and sprawling engineering teams. And on the other side, a tiny piece of software that takes up less than 2 megabytes of space. I mean, that is smaller than a single photograph on your smartphone. It sounds entirely one-sided, yet this tiny little file keeps forcing a trillion-dollar corporation into these strange, quiet skirmishes.
So you might be wondering, why on earth would Microsoft care about a single volunteer on GitHub? Well, consider this massive figure, 200 million. That's the number of times Batard's 1.9 megabyte tool, called Rufus, has been downloaded across its lifetime. To put that into perspective for a second, that is a user base roughly the size of the entire population of Brazil. Every single month, nearly 3 million people deliberately choose to download this tiny file instead of using the official pathway Microsoft built for them. These are everyday users actively looking to take back control of their own machines.
And that leads us to this huge number, between 240 and 400 million, which brilliantly illustrates the scale of the problem. That represents the estimated amount of perfectly functional PCs that were officially stranded, just declared totally incompatible by Microsoft's Windows 11 update. Back in June 2021, Microsoft announced that to run Windows 11, computers needed this specific security chip built into the motherboard, the Trusted Platform Module, or TPM 2.0. Overnight, hundreds of millions of paying customers with completely working computers were basically told their machines were suddenly obsolete. Microsoft's guidance was pretty much go buy new hardware or just stay on the older Windows 10 until we pull the plug on support.
To really understand this war, we have to understand the weapon. On the surface, Rufus sounds, well, kind of boring. It's just a free, open-source utility for creating bootable USB drives. But actually, scratch that, it's more like a digital screwdriver that quietly dismantles Microsoft's mandatory hardware checks, their account sign-ins, and their forced encryptions. With just a few simple clicks, it allows a machine that Microsoft explicitly blacklisted to run Windows 11 just as cleanly and stably as a brand new computer. It doesn't use piracy, it certainly doesn't steal Microsoft's intellectual property. It literally just removes the artificial gates Microsoft placed around its operating system.
And this conflict? It wasn't just a one-off event, it's an escalating cycle. Microsoft closes a door, Batard finds a window, and this exact dance has repeated with mechanical precision 3 separate times. First, in August 2022, Microsoft hardened its servers to block Rufus's download script, which is known as Fido. Within days, the open-source community had it fixed. Then, in late 2024, a Windows 11 update specifically broke the method Rufus used to bypass the TPM hardware check. Almost immediately, Batard shipped a brand new bypass using registry edits. Finally, in February 2026, Microsoft rolled out server-level filters that block these scripted downloads again, which triggered all those global tech headlines and Batard's public accusations of sabotage.
But hey, we have to look at the facts impartially here. While Batard heavily accused Microsoft of targeted sabotage in 2026, the data actually shows this block coincided with a totally legitimate external security patch. A standardized security vulnerability known in the industry as CVE 2026-2398 was patched by Microsoft in exactly that same window of time. So we have to ask, did Microsoft intentionally target this 1.9 megabyte tool, or did Rufus just get caught in the crossfire of a broader necessary security fix? The truth might genuinely be somewhere in the middle. A responsible reading of the evidence means we have to hold that uncertainty rather than just jumping to a clean-cut conspiracy theory.
So the really crucial point here is that both sides of this argument can absolutely be true at the same time. Microsoft's requirement for the TPM 2.0 chip, it is not just security theater. It's a technically sound, genuine security improvement providing hardware-anchored encryption and serious protection from firmware-level attacks. Making the ecosystem safer is a totally valid objective. But on the flip side, it also functioned as a forced hardware replacement cycle that deeply frustrated millions. The user's reality is that their perfectly dependable, expensive hardware was abruptly labeled obsolete. That's incredibly convenient for PC manufacturers selling replacement hardware, but pretty terrible for the consumer.
Buy brand new hardware you literally don't need, or continue running an unsecured, out-of-date operating system. It's exactly this massive wave of frustration that drove hundreds of millions of people straight into the arms of Rufus.
Fast forward to April 2026, and Rufus version 4.14 arrived with an incredibly thorough opt-out list. It basically handed power back to IT admins and everyday users to strip out Microsoft's bundled features with a single click. You could bypass the hardware checks, skip the forced Microsoft account sign-in, and even stop automatic BitLocker encryption.
It even let you completely strip out bundled apps like Copilot, Teams, and that Bing search box before you ever even saw the desktop. But interestingly enough, Rufus also enabled users to deploy Microsoft's advanced rollback protection. This proves it isn't an anti-security tool, it's a pro-choice tool. It lets you, the user, decide which protections to apply and which to ignore.
Now you're probably wondering, why doesn't a giant like Microsoft just sue them into oblivion? Well, Microsoft ultimately can't win this fight because they're trying to police a decentralized, open-source community using a legal tool that doesn't infringe on any copyrights. Rufus is entirely public under the rock-solid General Public License, or GPL. So when Microsoft closes a loophole, thousands of technically capable developers worldwide can review the code and instantly spot workarounds. Microsoft has no copyright claim over a USB writer, and there's no patent on the concept of skipping a hardware check. They simply have no legal lever to pull.
But wait, hold on, there is a catch here. Bypassing security requirements isn't consequence-free, especially for high-risk users like journalists or activists. Disabling hardware encryption is a major decision. Plus, when official download channels get blocked, less scrupulous actors always step in with modified installers carrying hidden malware. So if you're going to use a tool like this, you must absolutely follow these steps to protect yourself. Download Rufus exclusively from its official GitHub. Verify you have the digitally signed release, not some random repackaged forum copy. And crucially, read through those menus and understand exactly which security protections you are choosing to bypass.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a profound philosophical question that is sitting at the absolute center of this entire software war. Strip away the registry edits, the megabytes, the whole tech giant drama, and it all boils down to this. Who gets to decide what happens on hardware you already paid for? Does that decision belong to the trillion-dollar company that built the operating system, globally enforcing their security standards? Or does it belong to you, the user, sitting in front of your own property, deciding for yourself what risks you are willing to accept? It's a fascinating debate. And clearly, looking at those download numbers, hundreds of millions of people have already answered it for themselves.